Hello everybody, welcome to Grammar 2. You remember what we agreed upon last time when we were doing Grammar 1. You know that the course is divided into two courses, Grammar 1 and Grammar 2. Together they almost complete the grammar of English. At the end of this term, you are going to be examined in what you had in Grammar 1 and what we are going to have in Grammar 2. Alright? هقول لكم الكلام ده تاني وبعدين بتهيألي المرة دي بقى يعني واحنا في term 2 we are going to talk English more than we talk Arabic. I'll try to talk as slowly as I can, and you can always watch again because I want you to be exposed to the language as often as you can. When you cannot understand something, watch the CDs again. أنا هحاول طبعا المرة دي إن أنا أغلب الوقت بتكلم بالإنجليزي إلا أحيانا هقول لكم حاجات لو عايزة أقولها. زي ما بقول لكم إذا حسيتوا إن في حاجات مش قادرين تتابعوا الإنجليزي ولو إن إحنا دلوقتي يعني you've been studying English for some time now, ممكن أشوف دايما السي دي تاني. لأن ده معناه إن أنا يعني أول مرة هسمع، تاني مرة هبقى عارفة اللي بيتقال، تالت مرة ممكن حتى حاولوا إن أي حاجة بتشوفوها إن أنتوا تتكلموا مع المحاضر والأستاذ بيتكلم، حاولوا إن أنتوا في تالت مرة بتشوفوا and we are going to consider this an exercise at listening and speaking. أول مرة هسمع، تاني مرة هبقى فاكرة شوية، تالت مرة أقدر أقول واعتبر إن دي تمرين على الكلام. alright؟ طيب يبقى احنا هنبتدي دلوقتي مع بعض وبعدين زي ما قلت لكم في نهاية الترم ده احنا بنمتحن في الجرامر of English كله على بعضه. الحاجة التانية اللي عايزة أقولها لكم إن when I teach the second term, when I was teaching Grammar 2 last term, someone attended from Grammar 1 asked for permission to attend in Grammar 2, and I said fine. Later on he told me that what they had in Grammar 1 was more difficult than what they were having in Grammar 2. I'll tell you what. You remember when we were doing Grammar 1, I told you that you can do all your grammar correctly even if you do not understand the meaning. Sometimes you had some very long sentences with many clauses, but it was all about the structure of the sentence. كله كان ليه دعوة ببناء الجملة والجملة معمولة من ايه وايه اللي يخليني اعرف اني اجاوب صح من غير حتى ما ابقى فاهمة المعنى. This time grammar may be easier as your companion or as your colleague in the first term said. Grammar may be easier this term, but you have to concentrate on meaning to get your sentences correctly. المرة دي صحيح الجرامر ممكن تكون أسهل في حاجات، لكن عشان أعمل الجرامر صح أنا محتاجة إن أنا أبقى فاهمة المعنى مظبوط. In Grammar 1 you did not have to know the meaning of words. You had other clues to know that this is a verb, that this is a clause, this is a connector, this is the subject, and so on. And you could do your grammar correctly without need to understand the meaning. Now we should know the meaning. You'll know what I mean when we start. All right, let's start together lecture 1, and we'll start with the first item. The form of the verb. The form, what's the form of the verb? You always know, or you have always known, that an English verb has 3 forms. دايما كنا بنقول كده: the past, the present, and the past participle. And you know that there are regular verbs and there are irregular verbs. Now, let us say now that we do not have 3 forms, but we have 5 forms. An English verb has 5 forms. طيب تعالوا نقرأ مع بعض and I will remind you of what we were doing in the last term. The form of the verb. English verbs have 5 forms. You should be aware what forms to use after have, after be, and after modals like will, would, shall, should, can, etc. طيب احنا عارفين have, you know have, and you know verb to be. But here you have something else. You have the word modals. يعني ايه modals? Modals like verb to be and do and have, but they have meaning. They do have meaning. وهنشوف الكلام ده بعدين. طيب the following are examples of the 5 verb forms. طيب احنا عارفين ان احنا عندنا present, past, past participle ده اللي عارفينه. وعرفنا المرة اللي فاتت that we have the present participle which is the verb when I add ing. Sometimes I use it, that's just to remind you, I use it as part of the verb, not the verb. The present participle, ing verb, this is not a verb but it is part of a verb, or it may be a noun, or if you remember we use it as an adjective. طيب وبعدين عندنا بقى something else which is very much like the present, which we call the base form. The base form, or sometimes you used to call it the infinitive. The base form is not the present because the present can be walk with certain subjects and or with certain pronouns, and can be walks with other pronouns. And when you say he, she, it, it's walks. But the base form is always walk. He wants to walk. We want to walk. But he walks to work and we walk to work. That's the present. يبقى عندنا the base form, the present, the past participle, and the present participle. These are examples. Some are regular verbs and some are not. Regular verbs take ed for the past and the past participle, but irregular verbs change. طيب يعني هنا عندي مثلا this is a regular verb. Walk, walked, walked. But I have here heard, heard. This is irregular. All right, let's look at cook. You have cook, cooked, cooked. This is again a regular verb. But we have sing, sang, sung. This is irregular. All right? Now, after have, use the past participles. You've always known, or you've always studied tenses in a different manner. دايما كنتوا بناخد الجرامر بطريقة تانية. ان انا اقول مثلا ان ال past perfect او ال present perfect بيبقى عندي have plus the past participle of the verb. Or when I have the past perfect, the past participle, I have had plus the past participle of the verb. No, I want you to know something different, which is easier. After have, use the past participle. دايما بعد have or any form. Let's know it this way, that when I have the verb have or any of its forms, يعني have means have, or has, or having, or had. After any of these, you have to use the past participle. ما دورش بقى. يعني I don't want you to try to remember what tense this is and what do I use with have in a present perfect tense. ما تفكروش في التنسز. أي حاجة فيها have أعرف على طول have يعني have وhas وhaving وhad. أعرف على طول إن أنا بستعمل وراها past perfect past participle. من غير ما أفكر بقى يعني because I want you to be able to speak correctly. أي حاجة فيها have لازم هستعمل وراها past participle من غير ما أفكر في tenses. هنفكر في الكلام ده بعدين. After the verb have or any of its forms, let me repeat that. Have, has, having, or had. The verb that follows is in the past participle form. Let us correct these mistakes. They had finished work. طب أنا عندي I have here a form of have. This is have. طيب I can't say finish. I have to use the past participle form. They had finished work. We have have. See أنا بقول saw seen. تبقى we have seen the play, not we have seen. He has took. محدش يقول he has took. He has. I want the third form past participle. يبقى هقول على طول هعرف ان على طول عندي has يبقى لازم اقول taken. He has taken the book. Having eat طبعا برضو eat, ate, eaten. أول ما هشوف have لازم أقول eaten. Having eaten we had tea. Alright? طيب. He could have did the job. Could have. I can't choose did. Did is past. I need the past participle. هتبقى he could have done. When you know that this is what we use, this is the form we use after have or any form of have, يبقى وانا بتكلم او وانا بكتب مش مفروض ان انا هغلط. هلاقي اي form of have يبقى عارفه ان على طول هيجي وراه the past participle without having to think about tenses now for now. طيب no, let's return. طيب you should, I want to correct this, apparently I can't. طيب you should also, لأن دي slide we cannot correct it معلش. طيب you should also be careful that the past participle form also has to come with have. إذا احنا قلنا برضو it's the same principle. نفس الحكاية. If you say that have should be followed by a past participle, برضو a past participle should be preceded, لازم يسبقه have or any form of it. The verb is either past or past participle with have or a form of have. The verb is either past, يا إما الفعل يكون عندي ماضي or it will be in the past participle form بس معاه have or any form of have. طيب نشوف الجملتين دول. He begun a new job. He begun a new job. أنا هنا عندي begun is a past participle verb or a past participle form of the verb. يبقى حاجة من اتنين، يا إما أقول he began a new job or if I have the past participle يبقى لازم تيجي مع have. يبقى he began a new job or he has begun a new job. he done برضو he done مفيش حاجة اسمها he done. أول ما أقراها كده المفروض أعرف غلط إنها غلط. يا إما أقول he did a lot to help يا إما done تبقى he has done a lot to help. طيب verb form after have يبقى have plus the past participle. طيب let's look at exercise 30. Underline the verbs in the following. We are not underlining, we are marking because we have colors here. Underline the verbs in the following sentences and indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. Let's look at number 1. We are going to do this together now, but I will show you the answer key. The little boy drank a whole bottle of medicine. The little boy drank. ما ينفعش أقول drunk. يا إما أقول has drunk يا إما أقول the little boy drank. طيب. Number 2. Before I slept, I had locked the door. طيب. This sentence is correct. I had locked. Had and followed by the past participle form. Having run. Now, run is an irregular verb لأني بقول run for present, I use it for present. run, ran, run. طيب having run يبقى أنا هنا مستعملة إيه؟ I am using the past participle form after a form of have. يبقى having run out of bread, I called the supermarket. يبقى this is correct. The mechanic has broke. Has, I have has. The mechanic has broke. يا إما أقول the mechanic broke past tense يا إما the mechanic has broken. Has broken. A form of have, has, followed by the past participle. Let's look at number 5. He should have completes the exam earlier. Completes is completely wrong. He should have completed. لأني بقول complete, completed, completed. He should have completed. She has often, number 6, she has often become depressed during weekends. She has often become, has become. طيب عارفين become is present but it's also past participle. He has often, she has often become. Become, became, become. Number 7, the boy has rarely, نادرا, has, I have a form of has, rarely, rode, no, ride, rode, ridden, his bike in the park. يبقى the boy has rarely ridden his bike in the park. Number 8, having saw, برضو غلط. having saw أول ما اسمعها كده having يعني having seen. Having seen the accident, he was very agitated. Agitated, he was nervous, he was excited, he was not calm. Agitated is the opposite of calm. Type. Number 9. I have thought about quitting my job. I have وراها ايه؟ thought. Think, thought, thought. لما هتعود على اني with forms of have I use the past participle مش هقدر اغلط الغلطه دي اني اقول مثلا I have واقعد افكر think ولا thought ولا thinking. لا, I have thought. You could have برضو you could have reply no replied more politely. طيب now after be, after verb to be, after be, use present participle or past participle. برضو يبقى احنا عرفنا دلوقتي ان بعد have او اي form من have, has, have او has او having او had. After any form of have you use the past participle. هنيجي بقى الverb to be. After be, use present participle or past participle. be فيها حاجتين يا إما بستعمل past participle زي have لكن ممكن برضو بستعمل ال present participle اللي هو the ing form of the verb. طيب نشوف مكتوب إيه. Any form of the verb be يعني زي am و is و are و was و were و be و been و being can be followed by another verb. ليه can be followed by another verb؟ لأنه ممكن يعني it could be followed by a noun, by an adjective. زي الجملة اللي فاتت دي he was agitated. I am calm. These are adjectives. I am a teacher. I am a student. These are nouns. يبقى ممكن بيجي بعد verb to be أحيانا nouns, أحيانا adjectives, and sometimes they are followed by verbs, other verbs. Type any form of the verb be can be followed by another verb. This verb should be in the present participle, يعني in the present participle, the ing form of the verb, or the past participle. برضو مش هفكر. يعني انا عايزة ان انا اول ما اجي استعمل الفعل او اول ما اسمع حد بيتكلم صح او غلط، اعرف ان بعد verb to be يا اما جاي عندي حاجتين، يا اما present participle يا اما past participle. هنعرف بعدين ليه في الجرامر ده ايه، لكن المهم اني اعرف اقوله صح تلقائيا. شوف الجملة الجاية. You will study the tenses later. يعني I do not want you to worry about tenses now. ما يهمكوش دلوقتي tenses. But we may say now that the verb be is followed by the present participle when we have a verb in a continuous tense. And it is followed by a past participle when we have a sentence in the passive voice. فاكرين احنا قلنا قبل كده ان we use the present participle يعني الفعل اللي فيه ing to be part of the verb, to be part of a verb in a continuous tense. ال continuous tenses دي بتيجي من ايه؟ بتيجي من verb to be زائد الفعل فيه ing. واحنا عارفين ان عندنا كمان حاجة بس ما اتكلمناش عنها قبل كده، عندنا ال passive voice او المبني للمجهول. Now it's enough to know now, before we talk about tenses, it's enough to know that be is followed by the present participle when we have a verb in a continuous tense, and it's followed by a past participle when we have a sentence in the passive voice. Verb to be بيجي وراه ال past participle لما يكون عندي passive voice، بيجي وراه present participle فعل فيه ing لما يكون عندي a continuous tense. طيب in other words, when the sentence starts with the objects ده ال passive voice. When the sentence starts with the object and not with the subject. هنتكلم بعدين عن ده. طيب we are paint our house. We are paint our house. طبعا verb to be يبقى we are painting our house. The house was ادي برضو verb to be. بس هنا ده اللي قلت لكم عليه ان to do grammar correctly I have some times to think about meaning. ما اقدرش اقول مثلا هنا the house was painting. The house was painting. That means that the house is subject of the verb. هو اللي بيعمل does the action. The house was painting last year. لا. The house here receives the action. It does not do the action. But the house was painted. This is passive voice. The house was painted last week. هي حاجة من الاتنين. يا إما هقول the house was painting يا إما هقول the house was painted. هنا بقى لازم أفكر في المعنى. The subject اللي هو the house, the subject in the sentence. Is it the real subject? يعني does it do the action or is the action done to the house? هنا الفعل بيقع على the house. يبقى مش it's not the house that does the action. مش البيت اللي بيقوم بالدهان، ده البيت اتدهن. alright؟ فهتبقى the house was painted. طيب Nadia is arrange the furniture. طيب ده أنا عندي Nadia is subject, the furniture is object, is arrange is a verb. So it's a verb for Nadia, the subject. Nadia is the subject. Nadia does the action of arranging. هي اللي بترتب. يبقى Nadia is arranging the furniture. طيب نفس الجملة دي بقول the furniture was arranged by Nadia. هنا the furniture was arranged by Nadia لأن عندي verb to be was. مش هقول the furniture was arranging. لا, the furniture was arranged. Nadia here does the action. يبقى أنا بقول Nadia is arranging because this is a verb. She does the action. لكن بقول the furniture was not arranging but was arranged because the action is done to the furniture. طيب يبقى verb forms after be plus يا إما present participle يا إما past participle. Present participle if it is a continuous verb and a continuous tense, and past participle if it is a passive voice. طيب let us look at exercise 21. Underline the verb be and indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. تعالوا نقول مع بعض هنا وبعدين هنشوف الانسر key. We are start the lecture at 12 without thinking about tenses. We are start ما اقدرش اقول we are start، هقول we are ايه؟ يا اما هقول starting يا اما هقول we are started. طيب ده انا عندي بالفعل we are start the lecture. the lecture اهي it's an object، يبقى we are starting the lecture at 12. طيب I am leaving later today. It's correct. I am and you have the present participle. The parcel was delivered by the mailman. هنا لازم أفكر. أنا عندي two nouns here. I have the parcel, الطرد, and the mailman. One of them did the action and the other received the action. طيب يا إما هقول the parcel was delivering and the parcel does not deliver، يا إما هقول the parcel was delivered by the mailman وهنا هيبقى عندي past participle لأن I have not a verb but I have a past participle. I have a past participle because I have a passive form. Type number 4. To be working, be working. To be working, be وراها present participle. To be working was extremely important to her. This is a correct sentence. They are build their house on a farm they own. They are build لا. يا إما هقول they are built هم بيتبنوا وده طبعا غلط، يا إما هقول they are building وأنا عندي بعد كده object أهو. They are building their house on a farm they own. It had been noticed that a lot of money was wasted. أنا عندي هنا two instances، حالتين من verb to be. It had been is verb to be. It had been noticed، يا إما هقول noticing يا إما هقول noticed. هي لوحظة حاجة، لاحظنا حاجة اتلاحظت، يبقى هنا ده ايه؟ ممكن اقول it had been noticing. is it a verb و it هي subject؟ it had been noticing حاجة هي اللي بتلاحظ ولا حاجة اتلاحظت؟ يبقى it had been noticed. it's passive. that a lot of money was wasted. برضو a lot of money was wasted مش was wasting لأن the money does not do the action. الفلوس مش بتضيع، الفلوس حد بيضيعها. so it's passive voice. was wasted. Let's look at number 7. The exam results should have been submitted by next week. طيب the exam results, do they do the action or is the action done to them؟ تتسلم، هي نتائج الامتحان هي اللي بتسلم ولا بتتسلم؟ it's passive voice. يبقى should have been submitted verb to be plus past participle. Are the two companies merge into one؟ هنا بقى على فكرة ممكن الجملة دي تنفع بالحاجتين. ممكن أقول are the two companies merging. merging يعني يندمج. طيب are the two companies merging into one؟ هي الشركتين بيندمجوا في شركة واحدة. طيب sometimes to give importance to a noun, I can make it the doer of the action and not the recipient of the action. I can make it the doer of the action، هو اللي بيقوم بالفعل، and not the recipient of the action، مش هو اللي بيقع عليه الفعل. أنا ممكن أقول are the two companies merging into one، هم بيندمجوا مع بعض. وممكن أقول are the two companies merged into one. merged يبقى somebody else is merging the companies، يبقى كأن the two companies are not doing the action. طبعا when a noun does the action you give it more importance. فممكن الاثنين يبقوا صح. Number 9, we should be taking more than 4 courses this semester. We should be taking more than 4 courses. We are taking the courses. But this is the verb. It's a continuous verb. We should be taking more than 4 courses this semester. Number 10, the information has been duplicates on the disk. طيب أقول the information has been duplicating، هي اللي duplicate to make something again، يعني بتتسيف تاني مثلا، أو بتتعمل مرة تانية على الأسطوانة. طيب ولا حد تاني، يعني there is a subject that does the action of duplicating. طبعا it's not the information that does the action, it's someone, a programmer or someone else is doing the action. يبقى هقول the information has been duplicating ولا duplicated. has been duplicated. It's passive voice because someone is doing the action. All right? طيب. Let's look at the modals now. Use the base form of the verb after modals. ايه هي المودلز دي؟ طيب you know that we use what we call helping verbs. يعني helping verbs يعني verb to be مثلا it does not have a meaning. Sometimes it doesn't have a meaning. If I say I am hungry, I am thirsty, does verb to be have a meaning here? It does not. But in English we must have a verb. لازم يكون عندنا فعل في الجملة. طيب هو ملوش معنى. It doesn't really have a meaning. لما اجي اقول مثلا do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want a cup of coffee? do هنا دي برضو هي ليها معنى ولا is it there because it is a helping verb and it's needed to form a question? Do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want a cup of coffee? طيب ملهاش معنى لكن it's needed because we form nouns, we form questions using a helping verb. طيب. Modals are very much helping verbs but they have meaning. يعني ايه؟ يعني ما اقول مثلا I must have the medicine. must هنا ليها معنى. ليها معنى اللي هو وجوب او لزوم ان حاجة لازم تحصل، وفي نفس الوقت هي بتستعمل برضو زي ال helping verbs. يعني ممكن اقول مثلا must I have the medicine? Must I have the medicine? Yes you must. طيب With these models we use the base form. مش انتوا عارفين ان مع verb مثلا زي does she go, does she come, did he find. With these helping verbs we use the base form بس ما لهمش معنى ال helping verbs دول. لكن المودلز they do the work or they do the job of helping verbs, auxiliaries, لكن at the same time they have a meaning. طيب عندي بقى منهم كتير، يعني عندي will that's the present form, would، عندي can، could present and past forms، عندي shall، should، may، might and must and so on, and there are other models as well. طيب the train will leaving at 3. طيب ما اقدرش اقول will و leaving. will لازم يجي وراها البيس فورم، لازم تبقى the train will leave. طيب افرضوا انها كانت the train is، كانت هتبقى the train is leaving. افرضوا انها كانت have، يعني a form of have، طبعا the train is singular تبقى the train has. كانت هتبقى دي the train has بعد have بيجي ايه past participle. كانت هتبقى the train has left، the train is leaving. لكن اذا قلت the train will يبقى لازم يجي البيز فورم the train will leave. طيب the doctor may arrives soon. طيب arrives انا بقول the doctor arrives، لكن لو عندي may a model يبقى لازم الفعل يجي without the s. انا كده مصرفه الفعل، ما هواش في البيس فورم. the base form is arrive. أنا بقول the doctor arrives this is present tense. the doctor may arrive without the s. students must must taken 5 courses. برضو must is a model يبقى لازم اقول must take. طيب افرضوا انا كان ممكن اقول students must، ممكن اقول must have. لو عندي must have كان لازم بعد have استعمل ايه past participle، فهتبقى students must have taken. طيب verb forms after models يبقى model plus the base form of the verb. the base form اللي هو متعودين نقول عليه من زمان الانفينيتيف، اللي هو الفعل اللي مش متصرف، لا في اس ولا في اي دي ولا في حاجه. طيب let's look at exercise 32. Each sentence contains a verb formed with a model. Underline the verbs and indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. The shop owners might reduce prices. طيب أنا عندي might that's the model و reduce base form. Correct. The TV program will finishes. لا أنا ممكن أقول the TV program finishes at 10. لكن لما هحط will هقول the TV program will finish at 10. يبقى الجملة دي كانت غلط وصلحناها. Shall I call you up in the morning? Call you up يعني give you a ring, call you over the telephone. طيب shall I call you? Shall call. It's correct. The system of organizing the company can be developed. مش هقول can is مثلا واقول ان the system is، لان انا عندي can. لكن انا كان يعني افرضوا ان انا عندي the system of organizing the company is، يبقى هقول is ايه؟ is developed. هنا برضو can جاي وراها the verb in its base form. The system of organizing the company can be developed. بعد كان لازم يجي البيس فورم، مش زي لو قلت the system of organizing the company is developed. عندي is وجاي وراها past participle. لكن ما دام عندي كان، بعد كان لازم يجي البيس فورم. طيب number 5. The blender، الخلاط. The blender may switches off when you put too much liquid. طيب برضو لو ما عنديش may كان ممكن اقول the blender switches off. blender it بتاخد s في البريزنت. the blender switches off when you put too much liquid. لكن انا عندي may is a modal. after a modal the verb must come in the base form. The blender may switch off when you put too much liquid. I thought I could add words here, but apparently not. The cats must be fed twice a day. The cats must be fed. طيب واخدين بالكم هنا عندي حاجتين. must is a modal فيجي وراها ايه؟ the base form be. و be is a form of verb to be فيجي وراها ايه؟ يجي وراها the past participle. هقولها تاني. must is a modal يجي وراها the base form of the verb اللي هو be. be is verb to be اللي قلنا يا اما يجي وراه the past participle or the present participle. فادي be جاي وراها the past participle و be نفسها is a base form جايه بعد must which is a modal. The flats with the Nile view could sell. and عندي could is a modal. well that's sell. sell is the base form. sell, sold, sold. sell is the base form. طيب the flats with the Nile view could sell for extremely higher prices. طيب هنا نشوف المعنى. زي ما الجملة اللي جت قبل كده اللي قلت لكم to give يعني about the companies merging together. قلت لكم ان the noun that does the action of the verb is usually more important than the noun to which the action is done. يعني الاسم اللي بيقوم بالفعل دايما السبجكت بيبقى اهم من الاوبجكت. you see؟ فعشان كده لما بيبقى الاوبجكت مهم في الباسيف فويس ايه اللي بيحصل؟ احنا بنجيبه في مكان السبجكت، بنجيبه في الاول. طيب في معنى الكلام بقى ان اللي بيقوم بالفعل دايما بيبقى ليه وضع اكبر شويه من اللي بيقع عليه الفعل. طيب هنا مثلا الجمله دي زي بتاعت the companies are merging. The flats with the Nile view could sell for extremely higher prices. حد ممكن يقول لي the flats do not sell. The flats are sold. أنا ممكن طبعا أقول the flats with the Nile view could be sold وده يبقى passive voice for extremely higher prices. صح. لكن عشان أنا عايزة أدي الفلاتس قيمة أكبر من مجرد قيمة الأوبجكت فبخليهم هم اللي بيقوموا بالفعل. ودي حتى في العربي ممكن تلاقونا بنقولها. مش احنا ساعات نقول الحاجة دي بتبيع كويس. هي مش هي بتبيع، هي بتتباع. في الحقيقة هي بتتباع، لكن إذا قلت اديتها حق إنها هي اللي بتقوم بالفعل when it does the action it receives more importance. بيبقى ليها أهمية أكتر. يعني اما أقول الشقق اللي ليها اللي بتبص على النيل بتبيع يعني هي في الحقيقة بتتباع، لكن you give the active form of the verb not the passive form of the verb because the flats are important. They receive more importance when they are doing the action not receiving the actions. بيبقوا أهم لما هم اللي بيقوموا بالفعل مش بيقع عليهم الفعل. طيب if he had really wanted to pass the exam he would. أنا عندي would أهي would يبقى لازم يجي وراها ايه؟ ممكن اقول he would has ولا he would have. He would have base form. He would have studied much more. طيب. Number 9, I do not know when they will leave. I do not know when they will. Will is a modal and leave is a base form. This is correct. She will modal finish. Will جاي وراها finish base form. If she can has. طب أنا عندي can كمان. Can is another modal in the sentence. Has is not a base form. يبقى عشان نصلحها لازم نقول إيه؟ If she can have someone to help. طيب نشوف ال answer key. I'll let you look at that so that when you watch your CDs you can have the answer key. طيب. We'll take time to do that and you can always stop the slide. The little boy drank a whole bottle of medicine. يا إما أقول the little boy has drunk يا إما أقول the little boy drank. Before I slept I had locked the door. Before I slept I had locked the door. طيب. I had locked. طبعا عندي had a form of have لازم يجي وراها locked a past participle. Having run out of bread, I called the supermarket. I called is only a past tense verb. The mechanic has broke the mirror? No. The mechanic has broken the mirror. He should have completed the exam earlier? No. He should have completed. She has often become depressed during weekends. This is correct. The boy has rarely ridden his bike in the park. Having seen the accident, he was agitated. I have thought about quitting my job. This is correct. You could have replied more politely. Exercise 31. You can have a look at it. The last one is exercise 32. Those are the ones we did together, but I want you to see the slides of the answer key so that you can always do your revision. All right, this finishes our first lecture of Grammar 2. We meet again next time. Thank you very much. See you soon.